It's another, I think, elemental opponent of some sort. We might be able to at least get through the middle somewhat with this. It's a lot of magical damage dumped on them. Problem being, that's pretty much the only thing I can do at the moment. Getting offensive or risk. Yeah, not much we can do. Be better to just use the wish. Cryonax, the Prince of Ice, of course. Blizzard Trolls. It just isn't enough. Not nearly enough. Give me my goddamn rest so I can move on. I tested the double length time stop without alacrity. It at least didn't work on the Ravager at all, so the game hasn't been changed compared to the normal game or original game. That's why I haven't bothered trying to use it against a Melisande. She's probably immune to it too. I'd like to move on while I still have my magic immunities, please, so... Game says no. Well, they're probably going to do a lot of gold damage. Just a guess. Cranox is not taking any damage. I suppose immunity to fire isn't exactly unexpected. What's gonna kill those? Are there standard issue trolls? Probably. Do I have anything that does fire damage? Hasn't exactly been a concern so far, so I want. That'll do. He allows fireballs. Why aren't they going down? The regeneration rate is immense. Holy crap, it's crazy immense. Actually sure how the hell I'm gonna burst through that. Yeah, they're much tougher opponents than the guys that were here originally. I don't think I'm gonna make it. I just can't do enough damage to them. The other one is at full health pretty much already. I just leave you guys here. The elemental is probably the guardian anyway. I don't need to kill you, I just need to rest or use my wish spell to rest some contingency up. I think with the next one, Wilson will leave summoned creatures here and teleport up there, so I'm not sure that chain contingency can do anything really useful. You might be able to use summoned creatures to hold them here while I go and play some sand. What the fuck is this shit? Let's trigger it. Okay, we triggered some contingencies. That's an actually useful one. Do we have any attack spells left? No one's doing really fire damage. Melissan is doing gold damage. Maybe a spell shield wouldn't be a horrible idea. It protects from a single disruption attempts against my magical defenses. This is just horseshit. Don't need it. Well, this is crap too, but there's really nothing all that interesting here. I suppose we could use a couple of summoned creatures as decoys. That's not a terrible idea anyway. They don't need to do anything really. Just keep the trash away from my back. I need more Abidalzim's Horrid Wilting. The clenched fist could be useful because of the hold effect it has. Abidalson's Horde Welding, on the other hand, is guaranteed to be very useful. Mm. And here we have sort of a crapshoot what to put in here. Doesn't really matter. Maybe I should use a Planet Tar. Be especially good against the... Not against a Melisande, it won't have the capability of harming it. But it would be good against the secondary groups, and well, they seem to be fairly resistant to fire anyway. Could you actually cast a spell? Right, we have single measly contingency. I think the triggers will be more important this time around. We can't rely on the... Right, we can't really rely on the contingency to lower her resistance. At the same time, this is easily with something we can just cast. We should definitely go for damage. Oh, crap. Magic Missile probably isn't gonna work on her, but I don't particularly want to rest for a single sequencer. At the same time, it could be the little bit of damage that makes the difference between success and failure, so maybe I should. Maybe I should target myself when I get hit. It doesn't particularly matter too much. But at that point, you might as well add the Big Beast's clenched fist in there. It might paralyze the target. I need to re-establish my spells again. I think I'll leave a couple of swords here. Their only real thing they need to do is actually no. Don't have a lot of time after we start casting these swords. They don't have a huge amount of duration. We need decoys. They don't need to do or achieve anything. If I can cast my what the hell is it? Alacrity. That'll be good enough. +3 silver sword, that's what they have. Not enough to harm a Melisande. This is probably the hardest fight we're gonna have to have. After this, it's a fairly straightforward one-on-one against Melisande. I mean, probably easier than any other fight before that. Why can't you just give me the rest? Give it to me. More troublesome than I recall. I think there's a reason why I sort of gravitate toward the lazy solutions to this end fight. Yeah, it's multi-stage fight, but I honestly I'm not a big fan of it. It's suitably epic, but I'm not actually sure what my real complaint about it is. It's I suppose I don't really get why it has to be in these stages. It sort of seems like it just keeps repeating itself. There are minor variations to the same fight basically, so it's in that sense it's disappointing. The stages would have been drastically different, I think, but they're not. Okay. Triggers aren't gonna be enough. You don't have time to be restored. It's a bad positioning. This is gonna be toughest secondary fight. I think there's a dark planetar there with a group of demons waiting for us. But yeah, I think we have this pretty much handled down right now. We basically just need to buy enough time for me to cast improved alacrity, and then after that the fight ends. And that's it. Might be able to see ourselves through without any extras here. Which sure it's a good idea. Oh, why not? What contingency do I have left? When I get hit, chain contingency. Not sure how well that'll work. We'll see. Yeah, not well enough. Everything is magic resistance. So basically, ooh, they just. Yeah, they're all just dying. She has more probability. We could get through this with just these. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to try to do it though. We need quick reduction of resistances and then a quick kill to follow up. That's it. Trying to do it the other way will just stretch out the fight much longer than it takes to just load a few times to get the rest we need. They're also all demons, so I doubt any of my enchantments tricks would work on them anyway. And without the lowering of the resistances, chances are that magic will have any significant impact is pretty minor, so I'd have to maybe fight them a little bit. It just doesn't sound all that appealing to me. I think we should do it in the simplest of ways, really. Go in there and just kill the fallen planetar. Okay, this is more or less what I wanted. Solar. Solar, I think it's better than a planetar. Yeah, if there's planetars and divas, the ones we can get, the solar is vastly superior. And hopefully things will end. Actually, don't go there. We will go with the skulls, since they're more or less instantaneous spells for me. Alright, let's start the game. This is why we have the wand. I think we need to use anything special against her. They have physical, yeah, they have stone skills. really have to care about that anymore. It makes sense to use these spells though. I don't think they can really harm the swords. They have some physical protections, not sure it'll matter too much. Yeah. We're getting there. Horrible hit on the back. Anyone still alive there? Succubus. I don't really think that matters too much. Yep, Succubus dead. Right, so a single fight against the Melisande. I think she might not have any more health at this point. So all we want is that single goddamn spell. Then it'll be all over. I already had a spell shield anyway. Out of here now. I don't think I need any special preparations anymore. I can't really dump a huge amount of damage at the moment though.
You are stronger than even I imagined. So, your destiny is sealed. Let's finish this now once and for all. To the victor go the spoils!
Ah, horrible hit saved my ass. I'm gonna save the skull traps for later time now. The problem with them is that they're the only thing I can really dump quickly on the damage front, so I'll cast a few slower spells first. Well, the horrid wilting should be good. What's happening? What time to end this? Skull traps galore. Yeah, can we get to the end of this?
You will do nothing, Melisande, but accept your fate. The vast majority of the soul essences of the children of Baal, born of murder, now the time has come to make your choice, Bossman.
Okay,
Your
I chose
decision
to
has
become
been
a
made,
card.
Lieutenant.
Not that it matters.
Now the
Um,
act must be carried out.
yeah,
Prepare
yeah, yeah.
yourself.
I'll try to keep this brief. Pacifist approach. This is more of a curiosity thing to attempt, and I would not recommend this. That doesn't mean you shouldn't play it. What I mean is, this is like the hardcore mode in Fallout New Vegas. It's something you need to know that that's something you want to do. It's not something I would ever recommend to anyone. If you know better, then yeah, go ahead and do it. But I suppose more or less this was quite enjoyable for me up until the end of Baldur's Gate 2, at Shadows Run. After that, and with the constant boss fights, yeah, there were still a few uses for the enchantment and traps and things like that, but I suppose from both of the no, not necessarily. The couple of last bosses were the worst, but even before that, it starts to be. It was more a game of having the enemy just kill themselves to my fire shields and playing with how we started this. And by the end, while there were still ways to damage the opponents, they were so cumbersome and troublesome that all the enjoyment pretty much from playing the game was started to be squeezing out. That's why I was so fairly eager to jump into just putting the game to an end. There might be ways to do it. What I don't want to make any kind of claim that there isn't. I could have used more time to see through my options, maybe see if we can get something to screw up. But that's sort of the point. Even when I used a sort of a dialogue initiation exploit, more or less to bypass the demons in the Watcher's Keep, so I could steal one of the gems and talk to the other and steal one again. Uh, It would have been a very hard fight for me, but I didn't skip it at that point because it was impossible, where I didn't see ways around it besides what we were doing. I did it because it would have been very tough and he was basically resummoning the demons we killed, so I used my class abilities to bypass the troublesome situation that was more or less optional anyway. But now I don't see even that sort of options available for us. It would have been just trying to go for something incredibly tough to pull off, like trying to kill Irenicus in the Hell, with just relying on the F3D he himself summons in the fight, and then the minimal fire shield damage. It just yeah, you can probably do it, but that's like at the start of the Baldur's Gate game, you get to roll your stats and just wasting like 45 minutes to an hour to try to get the perfect stats, the perfect roll come your way. Yeah, you can probably do it, but I think you're a fucking idiot if you do it, because it's a gigantic waste of time, and there's very little enjoyment left after that anymore. You sort of miss the point of playing a game. You might as well just cheat at that point. It'll take like a couple of minutes to alter your stats, and you can get to playing the character you wanted to play in the first place. And I suppose that's the problem with playing like this. It works just, yeah. Not. I have a weird connection. It's like the Syringer of Fallout 4. It feels great once you hear the description of the Syringer. It's basically a weapon that shoots syringes that have different effects. Does damage, pacifies, has the opponent go berserk, has they lose sight of you and have hard time detecting you, a lot of different effects. But when you actually start using the blasted thing, it's borderline worthless piece of shit. Most of the syringes anyway. There's a couple that might be useful. The problem is that they're basically being pre-nerfed to worthlessness. The Berserker one affects creatures like level 10, 20 at most, and that's basically early game opponents. After that, it's won't affect. It literally cannot affect anyone. So this is what the pacifist playthrough of Baldur's Gate feels to me. When your options are still working, it's actually very fun. Even when you sort of struggle a little bit, you can still find ways, everything's still reasonable. But by the end of the game, nothing really works. It literally cannot work on anyone. No matter what you do, magic resistance wise or saving throw wise, the options are not there. They just, because of how the opponents have been built, nothing works on the enchantment front, and your options are so limited, it's not really fun anymore. It seemed a lot better idea at the early and middle portion of the game, but late game, yeah, this is very scarce on the fun part of gaming. I was sort of thinking of doing maybe other pacifist playthroughs, but I don't think I will. Because I think they're gonna be exactly like this. They're sort of amusing for a time, but when the game starts to get really tough, yeah. The options and fun are gonna be squeezed out and you're left with something incredibly pathetic trying to in your hand while trying to achieve some kind of a tough job. And why? There's basically, by I suppose, to see out of curiosity, can you do it? And that's, I suppose, how I think this should have been done. I should have done this. Try to see how can it be done. Now that I know, I don't want to do it again. I don't think it's a particularly good idea. The soloing, yeah, but that's fully you using the abilities the game gives you. But once you start to sort of cripple and take away the options the game really offers to you, to the extent that you can't even use your own character, it goes too far. Basically because of for me, the enjoyment out of the game starts to get squeezed out. So yeah, I think my pacifist playthroughs are gonna be limited to this one, unless there's some kind of really interesting thing where I see that it's actually supported by the game itself, not just me trying to do something incredibly stupid out of curiosity. Yeah. Enjoyable for the first game, although fairly limited in your options. I think best from in the Shadows of Arn portion of the game, because you have a huge amount of increased options. At the same time, your abilities still work on things. And in Throne and Ball, uh, in a couple of situations, the domination enchantment is incredibly powerful because it works on the giants especially. But all demons immune, all bosses immune, pretty much all golems immune, salamanders immune, so yeah, not much fun there. Still an interesting experience for me, but definitely gonna leave it at the experiment part. Not looking forward to repeating this.